My family relocated Christmas 700 miles away without telling me. I drove through a blizzard to an empty lodge. Then my brother laughed and said he lied about the location because some girl liked me. So I opened my email and canceled everything. Turns out the lodge was booked under my name. Their party started in 30 minutes. Christmas was always my thing. Like really my thing. I'm Tyler, 29 years old, and I've been the self-appointed holiday coordinator for my family since I turned 21. Not because anyone asked me to do it or because I was desperate for attention. More like the job fell into my lap the year my parents split and literally nobody else wanted to deal with the mess. That first year after the divorce was brutal. Mom moved to an apartment across town. Dad started dating someone half his age within like 3 months. Everyone in the family walking around on eggshells pretending everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. Awkward silences at every gathering. Half the relatives texting in separate group chats, debating whether we should just skip Christmas entirely that year. My little cousins crying and asking why Grandma and Grandpa weren't talking to each other anymore. Why Christmas felt so different and sad now. Someone had to step up, and apparently that someone was me. So I booked a cabin in the mountains about 2 hours from our hometown. Nothing fancy, just big enough for everyone. I organized a secret Santa so people didn't have to buy 47 different gifts. Cooked most of the food myself because nobody else volunteered. Stayed up until 2 in the morning wrapping presents and setting up decorations because I wanted the kids to wake up to something that felt normal, something magical. And it worked. When everyone showed up that Christmas morning, there was hot chocolate ready, cinnamon rolls in the oven, presents under the tree, kids running around screaming with excitement. My mom actually smiled for the first time in months. Even my dad seemed relaxed. For one day, it felt like we were a family again instead of broken pieces pretending to fit together. After that, it just became my thing. My permanent unpaid position. Every single October for the next 8 years, I'd send out the group text, "Same lodge this year." Everyone would respond with thumbs up emojis and "Thank you, Tyler. You're the best" messages. And I'd get to work booking the place, coordinating schedules, assigning food duties, managing the budget, collecting everyone's payments, all of it. I didn't mind. Honestly, I kind of loved it. Planning these events gave me something to focus on during the holidays when my own social calendar wasn't exactly overflowing with exciting plans. See, I'm not married, no kids, not even dating anyone seriously at the moment. Just me in my 1-bedroom apartment and my office job that pays the bills but doesn't exactly set my soul on fire. Meanwhile, my older brother Blake, he's 34 with a complete suburban lifestyle package, beautiful wife named Amy, 2 adorable kids who look like they walked out of a Gap commercial, a golden retriever named Buddy, weekend soccer games and backyard barbecues, a minivan, the whole thing. And he's got this personality where everything he does gets broadcast on social media with captions like "Family first always" and "Blessed beyond measure." We're different people. Very different. Let's just leave it at that and move on. Blake was always the golden child growing up. Perfect grades without even trying. Captain of the basketball team. Homecoming king. The guy who could charm anyone within 5 seconds of meeting them. Teachers loved him. Coaches praised him. Our aunts and uncles would literally compare their own sons to Blake with these disappointed sighs like, "Why can't you be more like him?" He had this loud, confident laugh that filled every room he walked into. The kind of person who just naturally became the center of attention without even asking for it. I was the quieter one. The kid who sat in the corner reading during family parties. The one who helped clean up after dinner while everyone else was laughing in the living room. The organizer behind the scenes. The helper who made sure everything ran smoothly. The "thanks for taking care of that Tyler guy" who nobody really thought twice about until something went wrong and they needed someone to fix it. Nobody asked if I wanted to be that guy. If I wanted to spend my 20s coordinating events for people who barely noticed the effort, it just became expected default setting. Tyler will handle it. And I went along with it because somewhere deep down, I thought maybe if I made myself useful enough, if I planned the perfect Christmas every single year, then I'd finally feel like I belonged, like I mattered to these people. Here's the really funny part though. Blake doesn't even like Christmas. Never has. He complains about the drive to the mountains every year. Grumbles about how long everything takes. Gets annoyed when the kids are too loud or when dinner runs late. But he loves the performance of it. Loves walking in fashionably late with a huge bag of expensive gifts. Loves the moment when his kids see him and start screaming, "Daddy's here," and running across the room. Loves being the hero dad in front of everyone while I'm in the kitchen, making sure the turkey doesn't burn. I never minded being in the background. I genuinely liked making people happy. Liked seeing my cousin's kids open presents. Liked watching my mom relax for once. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, I wanted to feel included, like I was part of something bigger, like I had a place in this family that went beyond just being the logistics guy. This year though, something felt wrong from the very start, like a guitar string pulled just a little too tight, ready to snap. It started in early October like clockwork. I sent out my usual message in the family group chat. Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thinking about Christmas already because these places book up fast. Should we stick with Pinterest Lodge again this year? Same dates as usual. Let me know and I'll get the deposit down. Within an hour, I had responses flooding in. My mom sent back 3 heart emojis and a yes, please. My Aunt Jennifer replied, sounds perfect. Tyler, you're a gem. Cousin Lily sent, that's great. Can't wait. Even my dad, who usually takes 3 business days to respond to any text, sent back a thumbs up within 10 minutes. Everyone seemed enthusiastic. Everyone except Blake. 2 full days of silence from him. I watched the read receipts, saw that he'd opened the message multiple times, but no response. Finally, on day 3, he sent back this weirdly vague text. Actually, we're thinking of doing something different this year. More local, maybe better for the kids with their schedules and everything. That was it. No elaboration, no apology for the delayed response. No, what does everyone else think about this? Just this flat statement presented like it was already decided. We're thinking like he spoke for the entire extended family now, like he'd appointed himself the new decision maker and forgot to tell anyone. I stared at that message for a while, feeling something uncomfortable twist in my chest. Then I typed back, trying to keep my tone light and casual. Oh, okay. What are you thinking specifically? Where would we go? When? Who's planning all the details? His response came 4 hours later. Still figuring it out. We'll let you know. That was literally it. Still figuring it out. Not sorry for being vague or thanks for checking or anything resembling normal communication. Just this dismissive brush off like my questions were annoying him. I let it slide. Told myself he was probably just busy with work or stressed about something. Maybe I was overreacting, making a bigger deal out of nothing. Week went by and my mom called me asking if I was still handling Christmas arrangements like always. She said she hadn't heard anything about any changes to the plan. I called Lily, who said the same thing. Nobody had heard about this mysterious alternative plan Blake mentioned. So, I did what I always did. Went ahead and booked Pinterest Lodge, same beautiful place we'd used for 3 years running, tucked into the mountains about 2 hours from our hometown with enough room for everyone. And this massive stone fireplace and huge windows overlooking the forest. A little expensive, sure, runs about $4,000 for the long weekend, but we split the cost among all the families attending, so it ends up being manageable for everyone. Standard procedure is I put down the deposit using my credit card, then I send out an invoice breaking down everyone's share. People Venmo me over the next few weeks. Simple, clean. Been doing it this way for years without any issues. I sent out the confirmation email with all the check-in details. Put together a shared Google Doc where everyone could sign up for food assignments and coordinate gifts, color-coded tabs, detailed instructions, the works. Everyone responded enthusiastically, filled out their sections, confirmed their arrival times. Well, almost everyone. Blake's entire section of the doc stayed blank. No food assignments, no dietary restrictions for his kids, no confirmation of what he was bringing. Just empty cells staring back at me every time I opened the spreadsheet. I sent him a direct message asking if he could fill it out when he had a minute. He read it immediately, never responded. Fast forward to the first week of December. Blake finally calls me. Not a text, not a voice memo, an actual real phone call. That alone was weird enough to make me pause before answering. Blake never calls unless something is seriously wrong or he needs a favor he's too embarrassed to ask for via text. We're not the type of brothers who chat on the phone about life. Most of our communication happens in the family group chat or through short logistical texts about whose turn it is to check on mom. I picked up. He sounded different. Friendly, almost. Chatty in this forced way, like we were best buddies catching up after years apart. Started with small talk about the weather and work and how crazy the holidays were getting. Super casual, super weird. Then he dropped it. Hey, so I have some bad news about Christmas, he said. His voice did this thing where it went up at the end, like he was apologizing, but also kind of hoping I'd just let it slide. Turns out there's a scheduling conflict on our end. Total accident. Amy's parents are flying in from Florida that same weekend, and we completely forgot we'd already told them those dates. Classic mix-up. You know how it is. I went quiet, waited for him to continue. He cleared his throat. So, we're kind of in a bind here, he said. And I was thinking, what if we maybe pushed Christmas back a week or did something closer to home instead so Amy's parents could join? I know it's last minute, but I figured you'd understand. You're good at improvising this stuff. I felt my jaw tighten. Blake, everyone's already planned around this date. I've got cousins who requested time off work. Lily bought plane tickets from Seattle. Dad arranged his whole schedule around this. The deposit is paid. The lodge is booked. It's not simple to just reschedule everything 2 weeks before Christmas. He sighed this dramatic sigh like I was being unreasonable, like I was the one causing problems instead of him showing up 2 months late with a conflict he'd probably known about for weeks. Well, We're still trying to figure out the logistics on our end, he said. Just wanted to give you the heads up that we might not make it to Pinterest, but hey, no pressure. Do what you got to do. Then, before I could even respond, he switched topics completely. Started telling me this long story about how his daughter Zoe crushed her lines in the school winter play. How proud he was. How she got a standing ovation. Talking like we hadn't just casually mentioned destroying 3 months of careful planning. Like it was no big deal that half his family might bail on the event I'd spent dozens of hours organizing. I sat there listening to him go on about the play, feeling something crack inside my chest. Not anger exactly, more like this slow, painful realization that I'd been putting all this effort into something that apparently only mattered to me that everyone else viewed as optional background noise in their busy important lives. After he finally finished his story, I said, "Cool, man, that's great about Zoe," and ended the call. Sat there staring at my phone, feeling hollow. That night, I couldn't sleep. Just kept running through the conversation in my head, trying to figure out if I was overreacting or if this was actually as disrespectful as it felt. 2 days later, the answer became very clear. My Aunt Jennifer forwarded me a screenshot. She'd been added to a new group chat, one I wasn't in. The message was from Blake, sent the night before at 11:47 p.m. "Hey everyone, change of plans. We found this great lodge closer to our place, more intimate, better for the kids. December 22nd, same time, address below. Can't wait to see you all." There were responses underneath. My cousin Alex sent "Sounds good." Uncle Paul replied with a thumbs up. Even my mom had sent back, "Okay, sweetie, let me know what to bring." All acting like this was completely normal. Like they hadn't just abandoned 3 months of planning without a second thought. The new lodge Blake picked was 40 minutes from his house. I looked it up. Cute little place. Definitely nice. But it only had room for about 12 people max. Not nearly enough space for the 20 people who'd RSVP'd to my original plan, which meant Blake had essentially created a VIP list, and I wasn't on it. I sat there staring at my phone screen, feeling like I'd been punched in the stomach. Nobody had told me. Nobody had asked if I minded or if I wanted to be included, or if I needed help with anything. They just made a whole new plan behind my back and assumed I'd figure it out eventually. Or maybe they didn't even think about me at all. I didn't say anything in the group chat, didn't call anyone, didn't send some dramatic message calling them out. I just kept coordinating the original event like nothing had changed. Kept sending updates about arrival times and food assignments in the main family chat. Kept smiling through the emoji responses and thanks Tyler messages. But inside I was starting to feel something I hadn't really felt in years. Not just hurt, not just disappointment, something deeper and uglier. Humiliation. Like I was the guy still planning a party after everyone had secretly decided they were going somewhere better. The kid who didn't get the memo that the cool plans had moved and he wasn't invited anymore. I'd spent 8 years making sure everyone had somewhere to go for Christmas. Making sure the little cousins had presents to open. Making sure my divorced parents could be in the same room without wanting to scream at each other. And this was how it ended. With them all slipping away to a new lodge they didn't need me to book or coordinate or pay deposits for. I should have canceled everything right then. Should have sent a message saying, "Hey, enjoy your new plan. I'm out." But I didn't because some pathetic part of me still hoped maybe there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe this was all a miscommunication. Maybe someone would realize what was happening and fix it. Then came the real punch to the gut. December 21st. I texted Blake just to confirm when his family was arriving. Figured maybe he changed his mind. Maybe they were coming after all. He replied with a single sentence. "Didn't Mom tell you we moved Christmas this year? You're going to the wrong place, bro?" No emoji. No, sorry about the confusion. Just that cold little message. I stared at my phone for a solid minute. Called my mom. She said she hadn't heard anything about Christmas being moved. Called my cousin Lily. Same story. Everyone still thought we were all meeting at the same lodge. Everyone except apparently Blake, who had split off half the family without telling anyone, especially not me. I should have just canned the whole thing right then. Cut my losses, stayed home. But instead I packed my car with snacks and gifts, printed out the check and confirmation, and started the 5-hour drive through snow and ice toward the mountains because if there was even a small chance people were still coming, I didn't want to be the one who bailed on them. I got there just past midnight, pulled into the parking lot, snow coming down in thick, heavy sheets, tires crunching on fresh powder. The lodge lights were on inside, but the lot was completely empty. That should have told me everything. But I still held on to this tiny sliver of hope. Maybe people were arriving in the morning. Maybe I was just early. I dragged my suitcase across the walkway, boots squeaking on the wooden steps, and unlocked the front door. The lodge was warm and silent. I walked through the living room past the long dining table I'd reserved for 20 people. The Christmas tree was already set up and decorated. Stockings hung over the stone fireplace. It looked beautiful and totally empty. My phone buzzed. Text from Lily. "Hey, are you there yet? Blake told us the lodge changed locations this year, but we weren't sure if it was a prank or what. I stood there in the middle of the empty room, holding my phone, feeling like the biggest fool on the planet. That's when I called Blake. He picked up on the third ring. I could hear noise in the background. People talking, kids laughing, music playing. He sounded distracted. "Yeah, what's up?" "I'm at the lodge," I said. "The one I booked? The one everyone was supposed to be at?" He laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, man. Yeah. I was going to tell you. We're all at the other place. Didn't you get my message?" "Blake, you said Christmas moved. You didn't say where. You didn't give me an address. I drove 5 hours through a snowstorm to an empty building." He paused for maybe half a second. "Yeah, that's my bad, I guess. But honestly, you probably shouldn't have come anyway. There's this girl here. Jennifer's friend. She's been asking about you for like a month now, and I didn't want you showing up and making it awkward. So, I kind of steered you toward the old spot. Thought you'd figure it out." I went completely silent. My brain couldn't process what I was hearing. "You lied about the location because some girl likes me." "I mean, yeah," he said casually. "She's really into you and I just thought it'd be better if you weren't around. You know how you get quiet and weird. Would have killed the vibe." I hung up. Didn't say another word. Just ended the call and stood there in the silence of that empty lodge with the fireplace crackling and the tree lights blinking and this crushing weight pressing down on my chest. I wasn't angry yet. I was numb. Hollow. Then I opened my email, scrolled back through the booking confirmation from the lodge management company. My name was on everything. The reservation, the catering order, the deposit, the credit card on file. Every single invoice was under my name because I was the one who booked it like always. And Blake knew that. He'd been using my name and my credit for years to secure these family gatherings. Then he'd collect everyone's payments and send me my share later. Except this year, he didn't bother telling me he'd moved the party. I looked at my phone. It was 12:47 in the morning. Their real Christmas party at the other lodge was starting in less than 30 minutes. Midnight kickoff with hot chocolate and cookies. I remembered because I helped plan that part too, before I got iced out. My finger hovered over the screen. Then I tapped the lodge management company's emergency contact number. A woman answered on the second ring. "Benares Lodge, this is Amanda speaking." "Hi Amanda," I said. "This is Tyler Harrison. I have a reservation booked under my name for a holiday event starting tomorrow. I need to cancel it." There was a pause. She sounded confused. "Cancel? Sir, your event is scheduled to begin in about 6 hours. "I'm aware." I said. "I'm actually standing in the lodge right now and I'm the only one here. I need to cancel the entire booking, the catering, the staff, everything." She hesitated. "Mr. Harrison, I'm looking at your contract right now. You signed for a non-refundable deposit and full payment on arrival. If you cancel now, you'll lose everything." "I understand," I said. "Cancel it anyway." Another pause. Then she asked carefully, "Sir, are you sure? This is a significant amount of money." "I'm sure," I said. "Nobody's coming." It was a miscommunication or actually a deliberate lie. Either way, the event isn't happening. Please cancel everything effective immediately. She put me on hold. Came back 2 minutes later. "Okay, Mr. Harrison, I've processed the cancellation. Your deposit is forfeited per the contract terms. The catering company has been notified. Housekeeping staff has been released. The lodge will remain available to you through checkout tomorrow morning since you're already on property. But after that, it's back on the market." "Thank you," I said. "I appreciate your help." I hung up. Stood there for another minute in that empty lodge. The Christmas tree lights kept blinking their cheerful pattern. Red, green, gold, white, over and over. The fireplace crackling away like everything was fine. Like this was just a normal night before a normal holiday. I walked over to the kitchen. Someone had left out welcome packages with hot chocolate mix and candy canes. Little touches meant to make guests feel special. All sitting there unused, wasted. I grabbed one of the mugs from the cupboard, made myself hot chocolate just to have something to do with my hands, stood there sipping it and staring out the massive windows at the snow falling. Thought about how many hours I'd spent over the past 8 years making sure these weekends went perfectly, how many spreadsheets I'd built, how many vendor calls I'd taken, how many grocery runs and early morning prep sessions and late night cleanup shifts, all so my family could show up and have a good time without worrying about the details. And my brother had thanked me by lying to my face and using me as a pawn to keep some girl away from a party I wasn't even invited to. That's what I was worth to him apparently. A problem to be managed. An inconvenience to be removed. Not even worth a real explanation or honest conversation. I finished the hot chocolate, rinsed the mug, set it in the drainer. Then I walked upstairs to one of the guest rooms, climbed into bed fully clothed, and fell asleep harder than I'd slept in months. No guilt, no second guessing. Just this strange deep calm like I'd been carrying something heavy for years and finally set it down. I woke up around 9 in the morning to 47 missed calls and over 100 text messages. The family group chat was absolute chaos. Blake's wife had posted a panicked message at 1:30 a.m. saying they'd arrived at their backup lodge only to find out it wasn't actually reserved. The front desk told them there must have been a mistake because nothing was booked under their name. They'd spent 2 hours calling around trying to find anywhere with availability on December 22nd. Spoiler alert, there was nothing. Every lodge within 50 miles was completely booked. They ended up driving another 2 hours to some random hotel near the highway that had a couple rooms left. No Christmas decorations, no big family dinner, just a comfort inn with a vending machine and continental breakfast. Blake called me 11 times in a row. I finally answered, "What the hell did you do?" He shouted. We showed up and there was nothing. No reservation, no rooms, nothing. Do you have any idea how humiliating that was in front of everyone? I kept my voice calm. I canceled my reservation, Blake. The one that was under my name. The one I paid the deposit for. You candle it. Why would you do that? You sabotaged Christmas. I was quiet for a second. Then I said slowly, "You lied to me. Set me 5 hours in the wrong direction on purpose. Left me alone in an empty building on Christmas Eve while you threw a party somewhere else. And you did it because some girl liked me and you thought I'd ruin your vibe. So yeah, I canned my booking. The one with my name and my credit card. The one you were apparently planning to use without telling me. That was for the family," he said. "You don't just cancel something like that." "Actually, I do," I said, "because it's my name on the contract, not yours. You wanted to do your own thing. Fine. But you don't get to use my reservations as your backup plan after you cut me out." He started yelling, called me petty, called me selfish, said I ruined Christmas for everyone, including the kids. I let him finish. Then I said, "You ruined it the second you decided I wasn't worth a real explanation. I'm done being your event coordinator. Find someone else." I hung up, turned my phone off, spent the rest of Christmas Day hiking through the snow alone, grabbing drive-through food, and watching old movies in my hotel room. Honestly, it was the most peaceful holiday I'd had in years. The fallout lasted for weeks. My mom called, begging me to apologize. My aunt sent long guilt trip texts about family and forgiveness. Blake's wife posted some vague thing on social media about how actions have consequences and people show their true colors. I didn't respond to any of it. I didn't engage. I just went quiet. But here's the thing. I wasn't done. I was just getting started. In January, I started putting together a business plan. Not because I was trying to get revenge or prove anything to Blake, more because I realized I'd been doing professional-level event coordination for free for nearly a decade. And maybe it was time to actually get paid for those skills. I took everything I'd learned from years of coordinating family gatherings, the logistics, the vendor relationships I'd built calling the same caterers and photographers and lodge managers year after year, the attention to detail, the ability to keep 20 different schedules and dietary restrictions straight, the crisis management skills I developed handling last-minute cancellations and weather delays and family drama. Turned out all of that actually translated into real marketable expertise. I registered an LLC in mid-January. Summit Events. Spent $200 on a basic logo from some designer on the internet. Another few hundred on a simple website. Nothing fancy, just clean professional pages explaining my services, corporate retreats, team building events, conference planning, posted some generic stock photos since I didn't have my own portfolio yet. February, I started cold emailing small businesses in the area. Offered discounted rates for first-time clients. Got a lot of no responses, a few polite declines. Then in early March, a local tech startup reached out. 30-person company wanting to do a weekend retreat for their whole team. Team building exercises, workshops on company culture, some social time, budget was reasonable, timeline was tight. Perfect first project. I used Pinterest Lodge, same place my family had used for years, same place Blake had tried to hijack last Christmas. Except this time, I was booking it as a business expense with a paying client who actually valued my work. The irony wasn't lost on me. I threw everything into making that first event perfect. Built a detailed timeline, coordinated with the lodge staff on room assignments and meal schedules, hired a local guide for a team hiking activity, set up icebreaker games and discussion sessions, even created custom welcome packages for each attendee. Stayed up late the night before double-checking every detail. The event itself went incredibly smooth. No drama, no last-minute problems, just happy clients having a good time and giving me genuine thank yous at the end. The CEO pulled me aside and said this was exactly what they needed. Left a glowing 5-star review on my barely existent website, referred me to 2 other startup founders he knew. Suddenly, I had a waiting list. 1 event turned into 3. 3 turned into 6. By June, I was fully booked through December. Started turning down projects because I couldn't physically handle more. Hired an assistant in July. College kid named Troy who was organized and eager and actually showed up when he said he would. What a concept. Got an accountant to help with the business finances. Ordered professional business cards. Opened a separate business checking account. All the stuff that made it feel real and legitimate. Summit Events wasn't just some side hustle anymore. It was an actual functioning company and I was good at it. Really good. The reviews kept coming in. The referrals kept flowing. Corporate clients willing to pay real money for quality event coordination. I never mentioned any of this to my family. Not once. Didn't post about it on social media. Didn't bring it up at the few family gatherings I bothered attending. I showed up to a small birthday party in July for one of my younger cousins. Smiled. Made small talk about nothing important. Dodged questions about what I'd been up to with vague responses about work keeping me busy. Blake was there with his whole family. Barely acknowledged my existence. Gave me this cold nod from across the room and then spent the rest of the party talking loudly to everyone else. That was fine. I wasn't there for him. The whole dynamic had shifted. I used to be the guy organizing everything. Now I was just another relative in the background. Funny how quickly people forget your contributions once you stop making them. Nobody asked why I wasn't planning anything anymore. Nobody seemed to notice or care. They'd all just moved on and found other arrangements. Probably Blake playing hero coordinator now. Good luck to him with that. Summer passed. Fall came. I kept my head down and focused on my business. Booked a major conference in September. Planned a company anniversary celebration in October. Each event building my reputation and client base. The money was good. Better than good actually. I was making more from Summit Events than I'd ever made at my regular office job. Started seriously thinking about going full-time with it. Then Thanksgiving rolled around. I was in the middle of confirming details for a December client when my phone lit up with a family group text. Mom sending a message. Hey everyone, just a quick heads up. We're keeping Thanksgiving super low-key this year. Blake's family is heading to Aspen for the holiday, so it'll just be a handful of us locally. Nothing fancy. No pressure to attend Tyler if you're busy with your planning thing. Your planning thing. Those 3 words like what I was doing was some cute little hobby, some side project I played around with between real responsibilities, not an actual functioning business with paying clients and a growing reputation, not something that was literally paying my bills and building toward a real future. Just Tyler's planning thing. I stared at that message for a solid minute, felt this weird mix of anger and relief. Angry that after everything, they still didn't take me seriously or respect what I was building. Relieved that I didn't have to pretend to care anymore about their half-baked holiday plans. I didn't respond to the group text. Instead, I pulled up my work calendar and made a decision. December 20th through 22nd, same exact weekend window I'd used for family Christmas for years. I opened my booking software and reserved both Pinterest properties, the main lodge and the smaller guest house next door. Filled every available room, 50-person capacity total. Then I called my biggest corporate client, a consulting firm I'd worked with twice before, pitched them on an end-off-year retreat, team building, strategic planning sessions, holiday celebration, all-inclusive package, lodging, food activities, everything. They loved it. Signed the contract that same day, put down a deposit that covered my entire business operating costs for the next quarter. I scheduled every detail to overlap perfectly with whatever last-minute Christmas plan Blake was probably throwing together. Knew he'd try to book Pinterest again. Knew he'd assume it would be available like always. Knew he'd show up to reality with empty pockets and no backup options because he'd never had to actually coordinate these things himself. December 20th arrived on a Wednesday. Gray sky, fresh snow starting to fall. I drove up to the mountains early that morning to meet the lodge staff and do final setup. Brought Troy along to help coordinate guest arrivals and handle logistics. Professional mode fully activated. The main lodge looked incredible. Staff had gone above and beyond with the decorations. Not cheesy Christmas stuff, more like elegant winter aesthetic. Candles and pine branches and soft lighting. Conference room set up with proper AV equipment for presentations. Dining room ready for group meals. Every bedroom prepped with welcome packages I'd designed myself. By noon, the guests started rolling in. Corporate executives and mid-level managers and some board members, all dressed in that expensive, casual way where everything looks effortless, but actually costs a fortune. Everyone friendly and appreciative, complimenting the venue selection and asking about the schedule, treating me like a professional doing valuable work, not like background help to be ignored. By afternoon, the place was alive. Laughter echoing through the halls, teams working together, fires crackling in both lodges. The second property, the one my family got kicked out of last year, was now hosting leadership workshops and evening networking sessions. Every room full, every time slot used. No chaos, no guilt, no last-minute texts asking me to fix something real quick, just respect. At 6:14 p.m., right as final dinner was being served, my phone started going off. Blake calling. I didn't answer. A minute later, another call. Then a text. Did you seriously take Pinterest from us? I glanced at the long dining table filled with executives in business casual attire, raising glasses, and complimenting the decor I designed. I turned my phone face down and walked to the head of the room. Welcome everyone, I said. Tonight is about reflecting on what you've built and planning where you're going next. Applause followed. I didn't check my phone again until nearly midnight. By then, my scheduled post had gone live. A photo of the lodge lit up in snow. Guests laughing around the fire. A simple caption. When they said go big or go home, we chose both. 2 lodges, 1 vision, 50 guests, endless memories. Thank you to our clients for trusting Summit Events with your year-end retreat. Can't wait to see what we build next. The response was immediate. Likes, shares, comments from clients and colleagues, messages asking about availability for next year. Even the lodge's official account reshared it, calling the event one of the smoothest retreats we've ever hosted. And then the family group chat exploded. Jennifer posted a screenshot of my post with one word. Wow. Mom followed with, Tyler, is this why Pinterest wasn't available? Lily reacted with a single heart emoji. Blake stayed silent for a while. Then finally, so, you really did all this just to prove a point? That message sat there for a long minute before I responded. No, I typed. I did it because I'm good at what I do and because I stopped working for free. The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Everyone thinks you sabotaged Christmas, I replied calmly. I didn't sabotage anything. I booked a venue for a paying client. You assumed you could use my name and my resources again without asking. That's on you, my mom called. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Her voice was tight, confused. Tyler, honey, why didn't you tell us about all this? I leaned back in my chair, listening to the low hum of conversation from the lodge behind me. Because last time I told you my plans, I was told not to make things weird. I said this calmly. No anger. Just facts. Because I spent years organizing your holidays while being treated like hired help. And when I was finally pushed out, nobody checked if I was okay. You all just moved on. She went quiet. I didn't know it was that bad, she said softly. I know, I replied. That's the problem. The fallout came in waves over the next few days. Blake's wife posted something passive-aggressive on social media about how some people let family drama ruin sacred traditions and how actions have consequences. Posted it at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Probably couldn't sleep. People started asking questions in the comments. What happened? Is everything okay? She deleted the whole thing by noon the next day. My Aunt Jennifer called me directly, not to yell, actually to apologize. For real this time. Said she never realized how much work I'd been putting into the family holidays behind the scenes. Said she'd always just assumed I enjoyed doing it, that it came naturally to me. Didn't understand that it was actual labor that took hours of planning and coordination. She felt terrible about how things went down last year about being part of the secret group chat that excluded me. I appreciated the honesty, even if it was a year late. Lily sent me a long message that just said, I'm proud of you, followed by like 6 heart emojis and then a paragraph about how she'd always known I was capable of more than the family gave me credit for. How she'd wanted to say something last Christmas, but didn't know how to intervene. That message meant more than she probably realized. Blake didn't apologize, but he did stop pretending everything was fine. Stopped posting family-first nonsense on social media. Stopped acting like he was the glue holding everyone together. A week after the Pinterest incident, he sent one final text. Simple and cold. Guess you don't need us anymore. I stared at that message for a while. Thought about all the different ways I could respond. Could go scorched earth. Could explain exactly how he'd treated me over the years. Could list every time he'd taken my work for granted. But what was the point? He'd never actually hear it. Never actually understand. So, I just typed back the truth. I never did. I just thought I did. After that, complete silence, and honestly it was peaceful. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.